This video is a review of 4.3. It is all about two-step equations. Two-step is similar to one-step, just you have two steps instead of one. And you're still trying to solve for the variable, figure out what the variable is. Now, the one thing you need to be aware of is when you're doing a larger numerical problem, you are going to be using PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. So when you're doing solving equations, you do PEMDAS in reverse. So if you have an addition, you want to get rid of that first. Addition and subtraction, get rid of that first, then get rid of your multiplication and division. Okay, so let's do some try-its. You can try this on your own. So pause the video and then see if you get the same thing I do. And I want you to, again, of course, show your work and check it. So let's do this one. I see I'm going to circle the variable and what it's connected to. So we have 2x plus 12 equals 4. So I'm going to get rid of that plus 12 first. And the way I do that is I subtract 12 from each side. So I'm still in balance. So that leaves me the 2x. Those cancel, equals 4 plus negative 12 is minus 8. Now, I want to find just this x. It's being multiplied by 2, so I divide that by 2, and I divide that by 2. That gets me x equals negative 4. Now, let's check it. I'm going to put 2 times negative 4 plus 12, and let's see what that gets me. So I first do the multiplication, because now I'm doing it in the correct order using PEMDAS. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 12 equals 4, and so that checks out because that's the same as that. So x is negative 4. Here's another one. I have negative 5c. I'm going to circle that. We'll hold that to the side for a second. I want to get rid of everything besides that. So I have a plus 9. I have to minus 9. And I have to minus 9 on both sides. That gives me a negative 5c equals negative 16 minus 9 is negative 25. Now I want just the c, so I divide this by negative 5, divide that by negative 5. That gets me c equals just 5. So let's see if that's correct. Negative 5 times 5 plus 9. When I do the negative 5 times 5, that's negative 25, plus 9 takes me to negative 16. It checks out. Good to go. All right, another one. I have 3x. What's happening to my 3x? It's being subtracted by 12, so I have to get rid of that minus 12, which is add 12. Add 12. 9 plus 12 is 21 equals 3x. Those cancel. I want to get my x now, so I divide it by 3. I divide that by 3. That leaves me with x equals 7. Let's see if that works. 3 times 7 minus 12. You do that first, so 21 minus 12. I know that gets me 9, which checks out. So x is 7. Okay, this one, I'm going to think about this one a little differently. Pretty similar. I'm going to circle just the variable. Now, what's happening to just the variable? Two things. That's why this is called a two-step. One is it's being divided by 2, and another is that it's being added by 6. So let's get rid of that 6 first. So minus 6 minus 6. So m, we didn't do anything with that 2, equals 10 minus 6 is 4. All right, now the m no longer is being added by 6. It's only being divided by 2. So let's multiply it by 2 because that's the opposite of division. So that's going to get me m equals 8. All right, let's check it out. 8 over 2 plus 6. 8 over 2 is 4. 4 plus 6 is, 10. Perfect. Checks out. Another one. This time, now, I'm going to keep the I'm going to have the z and make that be negative 3. Okay, so this z is being divided by negative 3, and it's also being added by 5. Let's get rid of the addition first because we're doing this in reverse, so addition comes before multiplication and division. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. That gives me 4 equals negative z3. Okay, now get this z. This z is being divided by negative 3, so I need to do the opposite, times negative 3 times negative 3. When I do that, it gets me z equals negative 12. Okay, let's put that in. So if I have z negative 3 plus 5, so I'm going to change the z and make that into negative 12. Negative 12 divided by negative 3 is a positive 4. A positive 4 plus 5 equals 9, which is what I have here. So it checks out. Yes, z equals negative 12. All right, this one, I could just circle the a here because the a has two things going on. One, it's being multiplied by 4, and it's also being added to 2/5. Let's get rid of the 2/5 first. Minus 2/5 minus 2/5. When I do that, I get 4a, oops, I almost did 4x. 4a equals, I come to the side here, negative 6 over 5 minus 2 over 5, add the opposite. That gets me a negative 8 over 5, negative 8 over 5. Okay, now I want to get this a all by itself. It's being multiplied by 4, so all I have to do is divide that by 4 and divide that by 4. So that's going to give me a equals, I come over here, negative 8/5 divided by 4 over 1 is the same as negative 8/5. Change and do the reciprocal. And I can do some cross simplifying. This 4 becomes a 1, this 8 becomes a 2. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 over 5. So here's what I'm thinking. A, that's a bad A, there you go. A equals negative 2/5. So let's, I'm going to erase some stuff here. We'll go right under it. 4, I think it's times negative 2/5 equals negative, we don't know what it's going to equal. But we do know we have to add 2/5 to it. So let's do this first. So 4 times 2/5, that's a negative 8/5. And then I bring down my plus 2/5. And when I do that, 2 plus -6, or -8, is -6 over 5, which is the same thing as this. So my A is -2/5. It checks out. I'm very happy. There are some problems where you're going to need to put your like terms together before you start getting to the variable. So I have some things here. 4 minus 2y. I'm going to add the opposite. So then my terms are 4, -2y, and 3. I see my like terms are 4 and 3, so I'm going to bring that down to 7. 7 plus -2y equals -9. Now, I have this. I want to get rid of this. I want a minus. Get rid of this +7 by minusing 7 to each side. That gets me a -2y equals -16. Now I want just the y. It's being multiplied by -2, so I divide it by -2 and divide it by -2. That gets me y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, let's plug it in, see if it works. Always got to check, always got to check. So I'll make that 8. So, we could do 4. Let's do -2 times 8, because we have to do the multiplication first. So that's -16. Bring the 4 there and the plus 3. Now, 4 minus 16 is -12. -12, add 3 is a -9. Yay, it checks out. So y is 8. Got to be really careful. Got to do all the steps. Keep concentrating on what's negative, what's positive. All right, one more. 2 more, I guess. Oh, this one, I have like terms. I'm going to add the opposite. So I have a 7x plus a -10x. That's going to get me a -3x equals 15. Now, I just want to find out what x is. It's being multiplied by -3, so I'm going to divide it by -3. And 15, I'm going to divide by -3, so that gets me x equals -5. Let's put it in and check away. -5 in here, and a -5 in here. And if I add the opposite, so we have 7 times -5, that's -35, plus -10 times -5, that's a +50. And then when I add -35 to 50, it gets me a +15, which is what I have. Checks out. All right, let's try this one. If we do the like terms, we put the like terms together, 1.3 m minus 2.1 m, that's going to get me a -0.8 m equals -8. Okay, so now I just want to find out what m is. It's being multiplied by -0.8, so I'm going to divide it by -0.8 and divide this by -0.8. And on my calculator, I know a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive, so I do 8 divided by 0.8, and that gets me 10 equals m. So let's check it out. It's kind of nice because you're timesing each of these by 10. 1.3 times 10 is 13, minus 2.1 times 10 is 21. 13 minus 21, that equals a negative 8. Yay. All right, hopefully that's a little refresher from what we did in class. All right, let me know if you have any questions.